home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
Okay, so welcome to how to make custom firmware for PS3. It's only for jailbroken PS3s. Obviously, if you're watching this, you should already know that. I'm basically going to show you how to make a standard CEX custom firmware, which is going to have all the standard patches that you would put into an official firmware to turn it into a standard custom firmware. The series is going to be probably about 5 or 6 episodes long. Dependent on the feedback that I get after that, I may show you how to edit the files to change the look of the firmware. So show you how to change the cold boot, how to edit all the symbols and words and stuff on the XMB, and then if I have good response for that, I'll probably show you how to add Cobra payload into the firmware, or maybe even show you how to add Mamba payload as well. I quite like the Mamba payload. Anyway, and dependent on how well the series goes, I'm hoping that, you know, if it takes off and more people want to learn, then I'm also going to start to do how to update certain packages. So things like Irisman, Rebug Toolbox, Webman, stuff like that. I'm going to show you how to basically report all your packages and stuff for the newer versions of firmware. I know there's probably information all over the internet about how to do it in drips and drabs, but there's nowhere that I found when looking about that shows you how to do it all in one place. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this tutorial series. So the first 5-6 episodes is going to be how to make a standard CEX custom firmware. So this is part 1, and it's called What Files Do We Patch. I'm going to give you a little bit of info about the setup, and I'm going to show you what files to patch, and we're going to extract the files that we need, and then we'll move on to part 2, which is actually patching. So first off, in the description of the video there's going to be a link to this making custom firmware folder. It's going to be in a RAR file, so you're going to want to unzip it and make sure you get it down to this making custom firmware folder with all the folders inside. Put this on your desktop, come to the very bottom, and there's a readme text document. It's got a little bit of info about what's in the folders, a little bit of info about additional things you'll need for PS3 development. They're not included in the download. I might put download links for a couple of things in the description of the video. Anything else, there's some info on how to find it. So this is the important part, is how to set up before following the tutorial. So what you're going to want to do is, if you haven't done this, pause the video or stop the video, go back, get this folder onto your desktop and follow this readme text document. Now you need to install all these programs. Not so much Photoshop. You can skip Photoshop for now, but ideally, if the tutorial series does take off and more people want some follow-up videos on how to edit the actual firmware, then you will need all these installed. So you may as well just do it now. It saves time in the long run. Some info on additional things to install, some places to look for info, and some credit and thanks. So first thing you want to do, once you've got this making custom firmware folder open, you're going to want to make a folder, and you're going to want to call it my CFW 4.80. Now the one thing I've got to stress is, when you're doing stuff like this, you do need to be very organised. I know my desktop looks a bit like a mess, but yeah, I've been on quite a few projects lately, so you do need to be very organised, because if you do mess up and you do get files confused and you're not sure, and you end up installing the firmware, it can hard brick your PS3. So just make sure that you're organised with it. Okay, let's make a new folder, and we want to call this OFW 4.80, and this is where we're going to put the actual file. Excuse me, the actual update file. You want to make a new folder called OFW files, and this is where we're going to put the files that we take out the official firmware before we mod them. And then make another folder called CFW files, and inside OFW files you want to make another folder called CoreOS, and you want to make another folder called VSH. So basically the files are split into two categories. They are the VSH that we're going to mod and the CoreOS. and also in custom firmware files you're going to want to add them as well, so I'll just copy these two over. So in CFW files and in OFW files you've got two subfolders, CoreOS and VSH. Right, so if you come into the making custom firmware folder, inside the 4.80 OFW pup folder is the actual 4.80 update. Now what you want to do is you want to copy this into the OFW 4.80 folder, so that we've got a copy. Ideally everything you want to do is copy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to extract the actual files that we need to mod. So first we want to you should have already installed PUAD, which will be in the setup in the readme text. So PUAD will be like this little grey square box. You might want to turn the music off or adjust the settings. You can do that up here. If you go to boot options, it will let you adjust the settings. See, I've got the music turned off. It's a little bit annoying. You can put your own music in there if you want, but I'll keep resetting my PC so much that I don't bother anymore. Okay, so you've got two options. You've got unpacker and repacker. It does exactly what it says on the tin. The repacker will let you unpack it, edit the files, and then or add new files, and then it will repack it for you. Or you got the unpacker, which will just unpack it. So if you come and click on these three dots here next to the put file option, it might put you anywhere. I don't know where it'll put you, but basically what you want to do is you want to navigate to the OFW 4.80 folder, and then you want to double click on the updat.pup. Now then it'll ask you where you want to unpack that file to, so it'll land you in the same folder. So if you just click on select folder, it'll unpack it to the same place. So if you click on dev flash and CoreOS, that'll unpack the dev flash and the CoreOS, so we can get the files out. If you want to make no Blu-ray firmware or no Bluetooth firmware that updates on a PS3 without installing that firmware, you can unpack the UPL. You can also change the version as well for installation, so it'll install it from the XMB and stuff if it's the same version. But I'll show you how to do that a little bit later when I actually edit the game XML. So click on start, and that will start to unpack. And what it will do is it will start to unpack the actual update file. So this is the PS3 updat.pup. This is the update file. When you update your PS3, the PS3 basically installs this file. So this is all, it'll unpack everything that's inside that file. So as you can see, it says task completed, so it's unpacked it. You've got the license XML at the root of the pup, which will be the message that comes up on installation, so the terms and conditions. And you have the version text, which is the version that will pop up at XMB when you actually click on the update, and it will tell you the version. So for example, like I'll change mine to like 4.80 overflow v1 or v2 or v3 or whatever it be, or you can just add 4.80 custom firmware. You need to leave the 4.80 at the beginning, because if you put the 4.80 afterwards, so if you have it set up like that, it won't update when system update debug's on. So you need to make sure that you keep it with the numbers at the beginning, basically, so that system update debug can read it. Okay, so you can close down PUAD now because we've already got that. Okay, so open up your official firmware files folder. So this is where we're going to put our official firmware files. So if you come into update files, as you can see, we've got the CoreOS and the dev flash. So they're the two parts of the pup, the two main parts. So first we're going to extract the CoreOS. So as I said before, you do need to mod the level 2 in order to make a custom firmware that will play games from backup. But due to legality reasons, I'm not going to show you how to do that. If you do want to discuss about that, you can always drop me a message. Please don't leave a comment on the video about it. You can contact me on Facebook, PortalCentric NGU, or you can email me and I'll discuss that with you further. So basically you want the level 0, the level 1 self, the SPP verifier.self, the SPU package RVK verifier.self, and the SPU token processor. Basically with the CoreOS we basically just disable checks. That's in essence what you do with the CoreOS, because there are a lot of checks, and and if your key signatures are not correct, then your PUP won't pass the check, and the PlayStation won't let it install. So basically these are the CoreOS files we're going to mod. So once you've selected all of those, if you hold Control and click on each one, it will let you select multiple ones. We'll copy those over into the CoreOS folder. Okay, so now we've got these 5. Normally you'd have 6 because you'd have the level 2 as well, but for purposes of this tutorial we're not going to be doing that. Okay, so then you want to open up the dev flash, the VSH and the module, and from here you're going to want to take the basic plugins .sprx, you're going to want to take the explore category game .sprx, the explore plugin .sprx, the NAS plugin .sprx, and the vsh.self. So once you've highlighted those, copy those over, and so now you've got the 5 VSH module files that you need to mod in order to make custom firmware. So this is the excuse me, this is the last file now that we're going to do. Basically, to add the install packages you need to mod the explore category game XML. So the XMB on the PS3 is made up of a structure of XML files. So if you go into update files, dev flash, VSH, resource, explore XMB, so as you can see these are the XMLs for all the different categories. Now the way it works is, this is just the standard for the photo category, that's the standard for the XML. These shop XMLs, that's if you're on shop firmware, which is like display purposes firmware, and tool 2 is the DEX version. So say for example if you've got a CEX VSH, then you'll be using the category game XML, and if you've got a DEX VSH it will be using the category game tool 2 XML. So basically we're going to copy this category game XML, just copy that to the root of the OFW files. Okay, so you can close down the OFW 480 folder. Okay, so as you can see we've got the category game XML, we've got the VSH module files, and we've got the CoreOS. So in the next part of the video I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to actually mod those files.